The book community is currently in shambles, and right now I'm beginning to question if any of us can maintain our sanity. Please, please, please tell me you have heard the chaos that's been going on with Freydis Moon. And if you haven't, oh, don't worry, because I'm about to bring you the tea. It is scorching, and I mean piping hot. And will we all be able to recover? I do not know. Guys, let us get into it. Okay. First and foremost, I know you guys are probably thinking, wait a minute, didn't she just release a video a couple of days ago? Yeah, I did. But with the chaos that I have now been made aware of, there's no way I can go days without bringing this to all of your attention and also getting your, your opinions on all of it, because you guys know how much I love reading your comments. So as much as I want my other video to really just simmer and allow you guys to take it all in, this needs to be addressed today. Like, oh my goodness. That being said, do go and watch my other video, Meet the Booktuber. But yeah, we're going to let that one slide. So, for those of you who are unaware of this entire situation and are just seeing this name pop up left, right, and center, and you really want to know who this person is and what exactly have they done to cause such an uproar, do not get it twisted. I am going to give you a bit of insight into what's going on. And it's not really just going to be a video of me ranting and raving as much as I would like it to be a video of me ranting and raving. No. We really actually need to discuss the ramifications of this entire incident, as well as the implications on the bookish space and the bookish community. Guys, it's a lot, but I'm really going to try and do my best. I'm going to try and keep calm, because believe me, this drove me insane the minute I actually became privy to all that was going on. Oh my goodness. Calm down. I'm trying my best. But because there are actually so many layers to what's going on as well, it's not going to be just a video of me just like speaking from like, my mind and everything that I have really reflected on. No. I needed to make proper notes because, guys, no, I did proper full-on research about this situation, because so many layers. So if you guys just see me looking down, please forgive me, but just know that with everything going on, there's no way, especially because it's literally been going on in only the last few days, there's no way I could really take it all in and deliver it to you in this way. I went full-on investigative journalism mode for this video, but before I even go into it, let me actually give proper recognition to the people who did the real journalism for me to like speak on. I'm going to put their handles there. This entire scandal initially broke out on Twitter. These are the handles of the pages that really just gave us all the information, that's been keeping track of everything. And I'm going to also link the threads on Twitter, now known as X, in my description, so that you guys can actually go and look for yourself all the evidence that's been compiled and all of the, everything that's going on. But these are, to my knowledge, this is where the news like properly broke out. And I will, in my retelling of the story, to the best of my knowledge, I will insert where they came in as much as I possibly can. But yeah, it's a lot, so it's gonna be really hard for me. So yeah, this is really just a concise, retelling of everything that's going on. I know that with Cindy also made a video, like I think really just a couple of days ago as well, and I know that she's always really good at recapping the drama and the stories and compiling all the evidence. So if anything, do be sure to check out her video and get a bit more insight, and it'll probably be clearer than me. Like, if you guys are here, it's probably because you guys like the chaotic nature of how I tell my stories, and I love you for that. I do. And if you continue to enjoy the chaotic way I tell my stories, of course, do be sure to subscribe. Again, I love you guys. But let's get into all of the tea. Like I said, the book is necessary. So it has come to the attention of everyone in the bookish world that Taylor Barton, Taylor Brooke, Brooklyn Ray, Jupiter Wives, Hunter Taylor, under Stacey Anthony, Bailey Green, Cordy/Cordelia Lynn, St. Harlow, Freydis Moon, Hunter Llewellyn, and Daniela Vega are all the same person. Literally every name I mentioned here. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 names are all the same person. Guys, I couldn't get my head wrapped around this quick enough, which is why once again I have the notes. But you might think, wait a minute, how, why, and where is this where is this going? Let's go to the first page, shall we? So, Taylor B. Barton, Taylor Brooke, and Brooklyn Ray. These people, or this person, was a trans sci fantasy author, okay? And it's very important to know that these three aliases were like known pen names of Taylor B. Barton. So Taylor B. Barton was like the initial person, and then Taylor Brooke and Brooklyn Ray were known aliases, known pen names of Taylor B. Barton, like the Brooke and Taylor Brooke being known to be the middle name in Taylor B. Barton. So, you guys are with me so far, right? Okay, so Taylor Barton published under, you know, all of those other names, and it was very well known. So that's normal because, as we know, like there are quite a few authors nowadays who have pen names, and a lot of these pen names are known pen names. For example, Olivia Blake is a pen name. I forget her real name because obviously I know her mainly by Olivia Blake, but then Olivia Blake is a known pen name of hers, and her real name is something else, but she has published under her other name as well. But pen names are a very common thing in the literature world. So initially, this is kind of like a, you know what? It's a pen name. You know, it's an alias for writing. Everyone, like a lot of people have it. It's not an issue. It's a very standard practice in the literature industry. So initially, you might be thinking that's not too much of an issue, right? It gets deeper. It goes way deeper than this. So, in June 2020, so this is where all of it started, right? Taylor B. Barton, she was accused of bullying and racism, and this is where the entire situation really kind of started for all of us. She was accused of bullying and racism, and then she posted an apology acknowledging racism. And this is where it gets really kind of funny because she was a known, like, she was a known white person. Like, we know that you're white, but then she called it internalized racism. Like, she never identified as BIPOC. Like, you were known to be a white person. So where did this internalized racism thing? So I guess it was one of those buzzwords that people were throwing around, you know, around 2020, especially with everything going on with race, you know, in 2020. So I think it became a buzzword, and she just put it there accidentally because that was an internalized racism. You were bullying and being racist to people of color when you were not a person of color. So no, it's definitely not internalized. There, it's just white on black. It's just racism. Just to say. That's just a side note, but you know, we move. Let's continue. So, at this point, they said that they would make donations to the Trevor Project and donate the royalties of the books of their books at the time to the Black Vision Collective. Now, with all of this going on, obviously, this is really, really huge. A lot of drama, and people were obviously coming at them for, you know, valid reasons. The publishers dropped her immediately. And you know what? You know, I'm really appreciating publishers, well, a good amount of publishers in this day and age, and their quick action. Like, there's no breaks, nothing. Like, you thought, like, oh, publishers really kind of, you know, keep their heads down and pretend they don't see anything. No. And I think because of obviously the air in 2020, you know, with all of everything that was going on in America and just globally when it came to racism, it was not going to slide with anyone. So her publishers, her agents, they dropped her immediately. And you know what? We love this. Taylor B. Barton, you're gone. At this point, she switches to her Brooklyn Ray account because she basically, you know, got rid of her Taylor B. Barton account and her Taylor Brooke account, and she switches to and became active in her Brooklyn Ray account and started and you know what, before I continue to what she did when she was on her Brooklyn Ray account, did I not mention that the three names were known aliases of Taylor B. Barton? You know, like, this is not like a secret name. We know this is you, right? So keep in mind that we know that this is them. After they became, you know, they switched to their Brooklyn Ray account, they started ranting and basically accusing other authors of bullying them. They really said, Una reverse. Like, you know what? If I'm going to lose my career, I'm going to try and see if I can Una reverse it and really just see if I can get people back on my side. I don't know where her mentality was. Like, let's just stop. Let's just continue. Like, in their ranting and then like accusing people of bullying them, they then go on to admit that the apology that they had made for the, you know, initial like bullying and racism scandal, they admit that they only made that apology because they were asked to by their team. So you're literally admitting that your apology was just mandated for PR. So you didn't think you did anything wrong, or you didn't want to apologize. That did not come from the heart. You're admitting to it. Guys, this is just... And shortly after all of this ranting and, this admission of like that fake apology, all of the accounts get deleted. Like, it's all disappear. You think it's going to be the end of them, right? Wrong. 6 months later, guys, 6 months later, Jupiter Wise appears into the scene. Like, a new author comes to the scene, and they're just making their way through. And obviously, as you know, like, the literature community generally is very, very friendly, very, very welcoming. Like, everyone is always ready to support, ready to back you. I haven't been in like the author side of the community, but I know from like recounting of other authors who are new to the industry, they just tell you how welcoming they felt, how they were able to get help, how they were able to get support by their peers. So we just know, like, you know what, if you come and you come genuine, like, you will get support. So obviously Jupiter Wise came into the scene, got support, and I love that. That's really, really beautiful. Well, Jupiter Wise enters the scene as an anonymous trans Latinx author. Okay. Immediately, I would go, oh, this is a completely new person, because that other person was white. So, so immediately I wouldn't even think to make a connection between the Taylor B. Barton and Jupiter Wise. Immediately, just from that insert of Latinx, immediately. Okay. But let's continue into it, right? Now, this is where, obviously, I think if people already had a suspicious mindset, they would, probably see like timelines, stuff like that. So Jupiter Wise, she's a trans Latinx author, and she writes the same type of stories that Taylor B. Barton wrote, in terms of like the same genre, the same focus of story and stuff like that. Even like when you niche down into the genre, she wrote basically the same thing that Taylor B. Barton and all the Taylors in the books wrote. But you know what? That's sheer coincidence. There are a lot of people in a lot of genres. You can't really say anything. Like, it doesn't matter how deep down you niche into, like, when it comes to the literature industry, you will find how many people who write the same thing. So honestly, that's nothing to really just compare, contrast, or even to be suspicious of. Let's continue. What's really kind of like interesting about Jupiter Wise, and not interesting just with the actual events, but also it's interesting because of what follows these actions. So Jupiter Wise comes into the scene, and they really make it clear that they are a person of color. Like, they make it very, very clear. They go on rants, and they make a lot of posts about the struggles that they face as, a person of color in the industry. And you know what? The things that they were saying, you're just like, you know what? Especially as people of color and as a person of color myself, I'm just like, you know what, 100%. If I saw these posts back in the day, I'd be like, I completely get it. You know what? This struggle is real, and I support you. Like, I completely get it. Like, they were really going into like the discrimination that they face and the struggles that they face, and they also went in about how their upbringing and their background has contributed to the stories that they write, and how you can see bits of their culture and like how they were raised in their writing. You know what? And as a person of color, you're probably reading this, you're just like, you know what, I feel you, I'm with you, I back you, honestly. Because these posts are fully like, you have all of the experiences, like, the language is definitely like, it's on point. And you know what? At this point, Jupiter Wise was also in the process of co-writing a story on immigration and Latin American culture with, a Latinx person, like an actual Latinx person. Wow. And as I bring the story to a close, this is where I really appreciate Twitter. Like, I've never been part of the Twitter community. I literally only started my Twitter account for my master's, one of my master's modules, because they're like, you need to have a Twitter account to do your research because of the type of research we were doing. That's the only reason I ever created a Twitter account, and I'm not active on it at all. I mean, now that all the book news is coming out, I can use that account to keep up, but believe me, it's basically a burner account at this point. And basically, the investigative journalists over there, they started to make connections between Jupiter Wise and Taylor B. Burton. And let me tell you why I appreciate the genius of the investigative journalists on Twitter. Let me tell you how they made the connection. They made the connection by astrological charts and home decor being identical in Taylor Burton's home as well as Jupiter Wise's home that they were posting on social media. And when I say identical, it's not like, oh, small. No. Identical position, identical colors, identical framing, everything. They were even the Christmas decorations were the same. They're just like, no. This is too many things. Some people even identified, I believe, a table in the exact position that Taylor, in Taylor's living room as it was in Jupiter Wise. So obviously, this got chaotic because people are like, wait a minute, are you them? And after these accusations, Jupiter's agent, and I love this, they very quickly and very publicly dropped them. Like, no, I'm not about to be, because obviously, and like I said, I wasn't privy to the Taylor Burton situation back in 2020, so I don't really know how deep it went or how bad it was. But quite frankly, it seemed like it was really bad, because even back then, the publishers immediately dropped them, and right now, the agent is not even willing to give you a chance. They're just dropping you publicly, and obviously, because you did admit that you didn't even mean that apology, I can understand it. So their agent publicly and like very loudly like dropped them, and I really, really appreciate that. And then after that, Jupiter disappeared. Now, remember the piece that she was co-writing, the book that she was co-writing about immigration. The author that she was co-writing it with is, has made it very clear that they were very, very like hurt and felt so betrayed, and obviously they weren't like supporting Jupiter Wise when all of this broke out. Now, remember, all of this broke out around like the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. So we are still not even near the present day, and all this has already happened, and we already have 4 names for this one person. We have all the Taylors: Taylor B. Burton, Taylor Brooke, Brooklyn Bray, and now Jupiter Wise. We have 4 names for this one person, and it's just like you're a bad person from beginning to end. But let's continue, right? After Jupiter disappears, Freydis Moon pops up, comes into the picture. And you know what? This is just chaotic, because once again, Freydis Moon makes it clear that they're a Latinx queer author, and I find it really funny that with the new identities that they're making, they're keeping it very, very clear that they're Latinx. They're just like, I'm keeping this Latinx identity with me, And along the same time that they appeared, Stacey Anthony appeared into the scene, another author, but Stacey Anthony, they write YA books, so a bit of a difference to what the other authors used to write. Now, when they both appear, it doesn't take long before connections are made between Stacey Anthony, Freydis Moon, and Jupiter Wise. Once again, the Twitter investigative journalists were on, the move. And what's so funny to me? The connection, the way that they made the connection is the same way they made it last time, with home decor being near identical. Not even near identical, identical. And in my head, I'm just like, you are on your 5th and 6th alias at this point. You don't think that maybe it's time to change a few things, especially because those things are what identified you last time? I'm not trying to say that, deceive us more smartly, but I'm just like, do you have a bit more of a brain to not make the same mistakes? It doesn't even seem like you're learning from your mistakes. The mistakes that you're making were bad, and we're happy that you made those mistakes so we can identify you, but you're not learning from mistakes, which probably, it probably explains why they didn't learn from their past racism and past bullying. But yeah, basically the same connections start to be made. Now, these connections are made by Elle Porter, one of the pages that I put at the beginning. And they made these connections in September 2021. Okay? Now, when these connections are made and when the accusations are made, Stacy made no statements that, I saw in all the evidence that was compiled. But back then, and even still to this day, they are still active on their social media, but, they only have one form of social media, and that's Instagram. So I'm just like, are they remaining active because, Instagram people really never get involved in that much trauma. So I'm just like, is that why they're just deciding to remain active? Because they're like, you know what, no one's going to catch me out on here and no one's going to care. I don't know, but to this day, that page is still active. But this is really interesting. And I think this is where I think a lot of the people in the community, now that all this has come out, I think this is where a lot of people are just like kind of really, really hurt. So Freydis Moon, they addressed all allegations and they denied them outright. They denied them straight. They made Freydis Moon said, please, please, please. I am really, really hurt, that someone would come and make these accusations of me, and I have never even heard or, spoken to or, have any connection with Stacey Anthony. And so they make this impassioned, Twitter repost of the Alert Burton post, saying that I am really, really hurt and offended, and I have nothing to do with either of these people. And part of Freydis's denial, they said that their legal name was Daniela and that they had no connection to Stacey or any of the Taylors and Brooks and all of that. And you know what? A lot of people at this point, especially because they have only encountered Freydis in a certain way, and they at that point, they had not seen any connection. A lot of people, and I mean fans and followers and even fellow authors who had become friends with Freydis, they all back Freydis. They all come to their defense. They say, please, 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 you know what? Benefit of the doubt here. I believe that Freydis is sincere. I'm going to stand by Freydis. I believe everyone at that point stood by Freydis. And I've even seen nowadays, with people like learning of everything that's going on, a lot of people coming out to say, you know what, when the initial thing broke out, I stood behind Freydis. I gave them benefit of the doubt, even though things were a bit sketchy. I gave them benefit of the doubt. So this entire debacle, I think this is one of the straws that began to break the camel's back, because people backed you. People put their own like reputations on the line to back you. And now look what's happening. But let's continue on in the timeline, okay? That scandal came out, but you know what? It disappears. It's around 2021 when that scandal happens. Freydis gets backing, and we just go on about our business, right? And now we enter 2023. Okay, so we've escaped 1 year without any new news or new scandal with Freydis, Stacey Anthony, or any of the Taylors. Enter 2023 in July. Freydis states that they have a work in progress, and they start emailing snippets to whoever's interested. They're just like, whoever's interested, I'll email you a snippet, just for some feedback and stuff like that. This is where I just knew the chaos was gonna chaos. The opening chapter of the piece that Freydis was emailing out was near identical to a piece that Jupiter Wise had emailed out, like obviously when Jupiter Wise was active. And Jupiter Wise was also sending it out to anyone who was interested in stuff like that. Near identical. I'm going to hopefully have the screenshots of both so that people can compare. Near identical pieces, as in there's no way that these two have not interacted or been from the same person. There's no way. You know what's really funny? They're near identical, but I guess these people hadn't, read or, didn't really see Jupiter Wise's work before, weren't the same people who saw Jupiter Wise's work before. Nothing really happened at that point, at least nothing that I can see, no confrontations or anything. Because we get all the way to 2024 in terms of like my list of like the events that happened. 2024 March, so literally the other month that just passed, yeah? Freydis post in like a private author Discord server that they have a new work in progress. And they post snippets of it. And again, this is very, very similar to a piece that Jupiter Wise had been sending snippets out, years before when Jupiter Wise was active. And what's really funny is that even if just like it's not near identical like last time, like in 2023, but like it even has the same theme, as in Freydis Moon was a work in progress about a rock star vampire, and Jupiter Wise's piece was about a rock star vampire, and you can just collect snippets, like a bunch of snippets that are identical. And so obviously people are just like, Now, a few days later, after Freydis has posted this in the private author Discord server, they are confronted. Now, they are confronted by Elle Porter. And Porter Erotica, which is Elle Porter, is one of the pages, like I said, who presented a bunch of the evidence and, broke, the gates open about this entire scandal that's going on. So Freydis is confronted by Elle Porter in March, privately, to discuss the similarities. Now, this is what I think drove me insane. Freydis, without skipping a beat, says that obviously Jupiter must have stolen my work from when I was posting the original, a bit of the original piece back in my days on Tumblr. You know what? I won't even lie. The fact that they didn't skip a beat, I'm like, you know what? You're sticking to the story. And I'm just like, at this point, you have no choice, because your lie is so deep. You have to stick to it. You really have to stick to it. So you know what? I understand. They're still wrong. This entire situation is wrong. But I understand. You've been wrong and lying the entire time. You have to ride the lie out. You know what they say? When you get caught in a lie, it doesn't matter. You have to ride the lie out. Freydis really took that to heart. And rolled the lie out. And then the same thread shows that Freydis admitted privately that they had also used St. Harlow as a pen name. So that's just a random pen name that we don't know what St. Harlow was involved in, or if they were involved in anything sketchy. But we know that is another pen name that is part of the situation somewhere, somehow. Now, from the timeline that I'm seeing, with all the different threads, and guys, it's really hard to get all these things together. This is where Anna Zabo comes in. The other page that broke, that was part of breaking the floodgates. So, Anna also makes the connection between the Taylor B. Barton and Taylor Brooke, and they make a connection with a new person in the story. A person with the handle Taysalian, whose name is Hunter Llewellyn. This is where it gets really funny. Hunter published 2 of Freydis's book. But what's really, really chaotic about, this new name that, we see is connected to Freydis and the Taylors, this Hunter Llewellyn, is that Morgan Dante, posted screenshots showing that Taylor Brooks' book was modified by Hunter Llewellyn. So we know that all the Taylors are connected. And now we know that they're connected to Hunter Llewellyn, and we know that Hunter Llewellyn is connected to Freydis. So we know that one way or another, all these people are connected, don't we? And you know what's really, really wild about all of this? And I think this is I had it like on my notes, and I'm just like, an author used to be bullied by St. Harlow, the one that Freydis admitted to using as a pen name, while being comforted by Freydis. Do you know how absolutely insane in the mind you have to be to have a pen name that you have you've privately admitted to? So Freydis admitted to being St. Harlow. But there's a whole author who used to be bullied by St. Harlow and comforted by Freydis while they're the same person. Do you know how mentally unwell you have to be to do that? Like, are you insane? Basically, like, the enemy you know them well. Like, you know them well. As in, I was flabbergasted. Now, this is insane, because in the same thread with Anna Zabo, I believe, is where Cordelia, that name popped up, because I believe that they were publishing a book, and oh my goodness, guys, that piece of thread is one that I couldn't follow, because at this point, after the whole like Freydis comforting someone while also bullying them, I gave up. I gave up, which is why I'm telling you, please go and watch with Cindy's video, because at this point is where I fully gave up on everything that was going on. Because at this point, I just wanted to beef. And you know what? I can't even beef anyone because Freydis has deactivated their account. They're gone. Their Twitter is gone. You know what's really worse with this entire situation? This is the first time I'm hearing of any of these names. Any of them, Freydis Moon, you know, all the Taylors, the Brooklyns, the Hunters, the Stacey Anthony. Stacey Anthony, I kind of heard it in passing, but never read the books. Guys, it is shocking that the first time I hear this name, that it seems that quite a few people actually really adore their books. I've heard that a lot of people love the Freydis Moon books. First time I'm hearing of them is with this chaotic scandal, because this is actually how I came to know of the scandal. I was on Instagram and I saw a post from an artist saying that I'm heartbroken from everything that I've learned, and yes, I have created these covers for Freydis Moon, but just know I wasn't aware of any of this, and I'm just letting everyone know now. Please do not come for me. Like, I was not aware of any of the chaos going on, and 100%, I respect that, and I really hope people do understand, because no one knew all of this chaos was going on. Like, no one knew that this is what was going on with all of these different aliases, and even more aliases to come for all we know. And so 100%, I really feel for everyone who would have worked with Freydis, Hunter, Taylor, Stacey, all of the names. I've honestly given up. But while, we've now gone through the story to the best of my ability, because it's really just too much. I'm really, really sorry. We really now need to speak of, like, the implications and what really needs to be done, because quite frankly, this is really just too much. So first and foremost, the importance of authenticity. So literature serves as a platform for sharing diverse experiences and, just stories and perspectives as well. And so when authors misrepresent themselves, not only do they now lose the trust of readers, but you can also contribute to the distorted, portrayal of people of color as well as marginalized people in different communities. And so this entire story is just heartbreaking, because it's really now going to create a whole distrust of, the authors that you are following, especially if the author is writing under a pen name. And I really, really hate what this has done for, pen names, because like I said at the beginning, pen names are a common practice in literature. And there are a lot of reasons why authors will choose to write under a pen name, and that's completely fair. Like, some of it, it's really just, some people write a pen name if they're writing in a different genre, and they're just like, what, people know me in romance as this name, and I don't want people to now not pick up my thriller because they don't expect a good thriller from me because I'm changing genres. And some people even write under a pen name for safety reasons as well. And so what this has now done for pen names, because of the whole questioning of authenticity, is going to set such a dangerous precedent, because in all of the evidence that we saw, one of the key things that I saw was at one point when one of the identities of Taylor Rebranding or Freydis Moon or whoever, when one of the identities were going to have like a face-to-face talk with their agent, I believe, they spoke about not wanting to show their face, not wanting to show themselves because of dysmorphia, and obviously the agent respected that, and I obviously respect the agent for that, respecting people's choices and things like that. But because of this, it now sets a dangerous precedent where will people be able to continue doing that? Because the second thing that's really, really important here is the literature industry, like publishing industry, and what their role is, what their role has been, and what their role needs to be going forward. Because let's be real, there needs to be accountability. And one thing I will say when I say there needs to be accountability is I have seen good publishing in this story. Like, from the very beginning with the whole Taylor B. Barton racism scandal, the way that they dropped them, and without any question, they're just like, we cannot abide with someone who has shown themselves to be disrespectful of people in general, and obviously people in marginalized communities respect that. And obviously in the initial in the initial instance where they had changed their names, and that publisher dropped them immediately when they recognized that, oh, this is the same person as Taylor B. Barton. I recognize it, and I love that the people in the publishing industry in these instances have shown themselves to really kind of trying their best to stand and be allies of people of color and just people in marginalized communities. But at the same time, this experience, this entire scandal has shown that there does need to be better vetting, because we found, what, 12 aliases of this one person. Who's to say that they don't have 15 more? And who's to say that when, this entire situation settles down, that they won't do what they did before and just create a new alias once more? I mean, quite frankly, it really, like, nothing is telling me that they're not going to do it. I'm not a betting woman, but I would bet my money that they would try, or they will try to do this again, because it's worked how many times? They've created several fan bases around several different names, which is why this entire situation is heartbreaking for so many, because it's not just like, a small community. You've affected people widespread, you have affected people all over. And the thing is, it's the book community. And the thing is, even if I haven't read any of these books, and this is not even the type of genre of books I would read, I don't really care for things like this. But that if something affects one of us, it does affect all of us. This is affecting all of us. And this speaks to like the intersectionality of what this person has done, because they have affected people literally in different sections of the world in literature. And it's just like, did you just plan to attack everybody? You just wanted everyone to go down, and it's really heartbreaking. And so I can't say I have a solution. I don't know what is to be done, for how publishing is going to like crack down on when it comes, people with different pen names, and when it comes to identity, because this is genuinely a scary situation. We have a racist who literally adopted an entire new personality, and a personality of a person of color, and wreaked havoc around the literature industry for years, and only just got caught now. Like, the thing is, they actually did get caught before. They've gotten caught several times, and every time they got caught, they wiggled their way out. And even if they didn't get a chance to wiggle their way out, like the Taylors didn't, they just come up as someone new. I think there definitely needs to be more vetting in terms of, we can respect people's boundaries 100%, but at least once I need to see you and see who you are, see exactly your face, and know what we're getting into, and know that this isn't a pen name or a pen person or a fake person come to represent you. And honestly, what has happened right now is setting a dangerous precedent for what literature can be if there isn't proper vetting. And speaking of, the harmful effects that this entire situation has, let's not forget the effect on the Latinx community, the community which they appropriated. Goodness, this, I think, is one of the things that really grinded my boat when I heard about this entire situation. Because in Freydis' actions, they basically participated in the, erasure of, a community or a people or a culture. And what I mean by this is that they took the space of someone who was actually, a BIPOC writer or BIPOC author. Because remember, Freydis has gotten signed several times. When they were Taylor, they were signed, with an agent, with a publisher. And then when they became Freydis, once again, at least when they were Taylor, they weren't, masquerading as, a race that they weren't. But when they became Freydis, they were. And you took the space of someone who definitely is Latinx and had a story from their actual community to tell. And I cannot abide by that at all. I cannot excuse that. That is absolutely horrendous to do, because this erasure, it further marginalizes an already underrepresented group. And you know what? We're seeing that, what Freydis has done, they were doing this and they were doing that, and all of the, the different identities that they co-opted and that they took on that didn't belong to them. So many of them were identifying as Latinx, and we saw that, they, one or two of them had history of bullying other authors. And I'm just like, as you now took on identity that wasn't yours, what negative stereotypes did you further portray? that wasn't accurate at all to who these people were. And you know what, in the stories that you were telling as a Latinx person, when you are not a Latinx person, what false stereotypes were you giving way to? Because as a non-Latinx person, you can hear their stories, you can empathize with their stories. And like I said, we saw that post and they were talking about their, their experiences, being a person of color, and how people, how the literature industry was whitewashing everything. You can hear and you can empathize to the point that you can emulate really well, but at the end of the day, this is not your culture, and there is a point to how much you can understand. And so when you got to that point, or when you've gotten to that point, you're just going to be spouting things that aren't true, and just perpetuating lies. And it's so destructive. It is so destructive. And so this part of the story really, I remember when I heard of it, I was screaming. I was absolutely livid. So right now, and you guys know me, I can get like really, really passionate, and I'll even scream on here. But you guys know when I get a bit quiet, I am just trying to hold in my rage, because goodness me, I cannot believe that this is where we ended up. That this is what happened. Oh God. Oh goodness. It's just so terrible. And I think lastly, what I think concerns me a lot is the fact that this is a repeat offense. This is a repeat offense. There are very much repeated offenses. And I'm like, guys, we can very clearly recognize the pattern of just terrible behavior here. Like we can see the pattern of deception, the repeated pattern of deception, and the continued efforts to evade accountability and responsibility. Every time they're called out for doing something wrong, they go away, create a new identity, and just do more wrongs. When the Taylors were first called out, they went to Brooklyn Ray, forgetting that we knew that that was a whole pen name of theirs, and then tried to do the Una reverse and say that, oh, actually, you're bullying us. Everything that they were doing, trying to evade accountability. When Freydis Moon was then, accused, the very first time they were accused, to say that, oh, are you Jupiter Wise and are you Stacey Anthony? They had that impassioned speech, evading accountability once more. It is terrible, because what this shows is that you just have a genuine lack of remorse, and not even just a willingness, but really a plan to continue moving in this way, and to continue their harmful patterns and their harmful behaviors. I don't know how we're going to move forward from this, because we have seen that quite a few names have been created by them, and they have deceived so many in the book world. They've deceived the entire book world for years. What can we do to ensure that, one, yes, Freydis Moon and all of their aliases never has a career in the, I'm so sorry. I 100%, you guys know, I 100% believe in forgiveness, but I believe in accountability. And accountability for you is that you do not have, a space here anymore. I'm so sorry. With this behavior, like I said, it just shows complete lack of remorse and willingness to do it again and again and again. They don't want to change. They don't want to change what they're doing. They don't want to take accountability. They don't want to be responsible. They don't want to be an actual good contributing member of society who respects everyone, respects their culture, respects their boundaries. They don't want to do that. They don't want to be that. So you know what? Watch from outside. Watch from outside. But how do we do it? How do we confirm that we do it? Like I said so many times, can we confirm that all of these identities, all these aliases are the only aliases of Freydis Moon and Taylor Barton, whatever? Honestly, I don't know what name to refer to them as, because truly, what name do you feel more comfortable as? And should I even ask? Because obviously they have been known now as Freydis Moon, I guess I'll stick to that, but what are we going to do? The implications of this story are some of the most chaotic. And it's very scary to see where publishing will go because of this situation. It's terrible. It's scary. And we really have to put our thinking hats on and be ready for action, be ready for change, and, stick with it. You know what? Forgiveness is real, but accountability is as well. And at this point in time, we can't allow Freydis Moon to continue to wreak havoc. They've already now, created mass destruction in the environment that we're in. We can't allow it anymore. So right now, I definitely feel for every single person who interacted with Freydis Moon and all of their aliases. I feel for them because I can understand. I can't like, I don't know what it was like to be in their shoes, but I can empathize, with the betrayal that they must feel, the hurt that they must feel as well. That is terrible, especially the people who went to bat. Like all of the authors have now come out publicly to, obviously disavow everything that Freydis Moon has done and just, just distance themselves and say, you know what? I wasn't a part of this. I didn't know about this, and I am so betrayed and hurt, and I want no parts of this. And you know what? I support them, obviously, and I pray that they can get healing from this because I know that this would be something that's so hurtful for them. But I think one thing that we can do going forward is obviously supporting real Latinx authors, real Latinx authors. Not just Latinx authors, just people from a diverse background, guys. Just people in marginalized communities, like people who have, not lied and betrayed and schemed their way into the community for reasons we know not. People who definitely need their voices heard and are worth it as well. So 100% do be sure that you are diversifying your bookshelves as much as possible. Be sure that you are loving on the authors who are putting their all in books and, maintaining your trust because they're real and they're accountable to everything that's going on. And while we continue to figure out how we can make the publishing world and the bookish space a healthier, safer place, let's just support the people who would have been affected, and support the communities who would have been affected as well. It's a really, really hard time to be in the bookish space right now. I just feel like we're not okay. Like, it's just, we're going through a lot. It's just drama after drama after drama. I mean, even in my last video, the entire point of my last video is that I said, guys, we've just been embroiled in drama for too long and we need a palate cleanser. And then this, I've become aware of this and it's just too much. So I'm sorry. But I definitely think, obviously, this is something that everyone needs to be made aware of. So I can't, just, palate cleanser and keep you guys, leave you guys out in the lurch. One of the whole things of obviously discussing the things happening is, fun for scandal and drama, but it's also a point of we need to be informed. We need to remain informed. Information is power. And so we need to remain informed so we can know how to act moving forward. So we now are informed, and now we can all contribute to what can be done to make literature in the bookish space, better moving forward. So that is it for me today, guys. Again, another long video. Guys, I'm really going to try to not make this a thing where all of my videos are like over 15 minutes. Like, believe me, that's not what we're trying to do here. But for this situation, it was mandated 100%. It was necessary because we needed to go through everything that was going on, but we also needed to discuss the implications and where this leaves us as people who love books and want to support our authors. So that's it from me, guys. I thank you so much for tuning in, for, obviously listening to even the rants at the beginning and, really just listening to all I had to say. Do be sure, obviously, and always to like and show your support, comment, like, let me know, how this situation has affected you. Like, where do you stand? What do you think can be done? And just how you're feeling with everything going on. And obviously share it because, like I said, we all need to remain informed. So share it with your friends, and all people in the bookish space. And if you haven't already, like I said earlier, do be sure to subscribe because I am a page that's going to keep you guys informed. But we also do our reviews and, we have our fun in this space. So do be sure to be a part of the community. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.